All right, 9 o'clock. Said I'd be here, and I'm here. I'm here kind of talking to myself. What a modern world thing. I'm sitting here temporarily alone in my home, talking to a little device that connects me to the world. If we aren't the Jetsons, I don't know what is. Here's George Jetson, do 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 do. Jane, his wife, do 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 do. His boy Elroy, dee 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 dee. Daughter Judy, and I can't remember the dog's name. Anyhow, good morning, everybody. I know this is me just kind of getting warmed up, actually not speaking for the first time today. Good morning, Dana Reynolds, and Katie, and Jocelyn, and Hollis, and SB, and Sherry, and Tammy. Good morning. Welcome to I say this often enough you'd think I'd remember it, but I've got an aging brain. The Romper Room portion of the show where I welcome everybody. So come on in. I feel like a combo of Miss Jean from Romper Room and perhaps I don't know, Mr. Rourke from Fantasy Island. Smiles, everyone, smiles. Good morning, German Maid, and Jennifer, and Robin, and Barbara, all sorts of folks. So good morning. Yeah, so if we haven't met before, and I'll probably do this a couple of times, so just, I'm trying to be polite and just welcoming to whoever tends to be swinging by. So my name is Beth. I am a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. Now, how can somebody who is on the internet help you with your cluttered home? Don't you have to be in my home to help me with that? Well, if I was going to use my hands to help you with your stuff, sure, I could move the stuff for you, and I could point at it, and what's that? But you know what? The magic doesn't happen here. What happens at the end of your hands when you're moving things from one place to another, either putting them away where you want them or removing them from your home completely, this magic starts way back up here in your head and in your heart. This is where I hang out. Somebody else can do the moving of the stuff, but I hang out up here with you so you can learn and practice in a safe, supportive environment, no pressure, no judgment, asking yourself questions and daring to answer the questions with the answer that you want. Now, why do I say dare? Because I don't know about you, but for years I was not encouraged to do what I wanted to do. I was told and shown that you don't do what you want to do, you do what you have to do, and you make the best of it, and that's just how life goes. Well, kinda, yeah, but doesn't that make the whole future just seem meh? So I want to encourage you with Destination Decluttered is, okay, so full disclosure, I am a certified life coach, so I will often be thinking and kind of talking on two parallel tracks. I'll be talking about what do you want your home to look like, but I will also be saying at that same time, to me, home and life are kind of interchangeable. And I say that because how you do one thing is how you do a lot of things. So if you're not showing up for making your home look and feel and function the way you want it to, maybe you're not doing the same things for your life. However, when you learn how to show up for yourself in your home, making it look and feel and function like you want it to, this is a really cool thing, people. The way that I coach anyway, I am so freaking transparent about the framework behind it. I don't try to, smoke and mirrors or anything. I'm like, see how we did that? Now let's use that same approach, copy and paste it, kind of like a template. Why, thank you for those little hearts. Those things can be used in other parts of your life. And the reason I start with the clutter, I will share. Again, I'm sharing with you my own journey. Ah, don't stop believing. That's my own journey. Back in the day, when somebody said, kind of, what do you want to do with your life? Besides saying, I want to rock, I would be like, I don't know. I kind of did know, but I was afraid to say it because then I'd be like, well, you can't do that. So it's better to not go for it than feel like you can't do it. It freaked me out, the enormity, the overwhelm. Maybe this is you. Are you feeling overwhelmed? The too bigness. What do I want to do with my life? I don't know. That's too big of a question, so I'm not going to ask it. But what I want to offer to you is the thought that when you say, Susan Porter singing a Journey tribute band on the 28th, I love it. When you take the overwhelm, take the over You take it from over your head, you bring it down, and you say, I got this. I'm going to calm down, slow down, breathe down, all the downs. And you feel better. You say, okay, what chunk of my life can I practice on? I'm going to practice in my home because I can do something about stuff. What is this thing? Do I want it? Where does it go? What is this thing? Do I want it? Where does it go? Lather, rinse, repeat. You can practice this with your home. And the cool thing is you will notice a visible difference. And you will notice a feeling difference. I was going to say spiritual, but that sounds a little bit too whatever. But you'll notice it feels better. It feels better when you're in your house knowing where your stuff is. It feels better waking up in the morning. I don't know, maybe you get to sleep 5 or 10 minutes earlier because you know exactly where your clothes are and you just go boop, 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 and you get into them. Remember, you know what's funny? This is just full disclosure. I am a Gen X. I'm an elder Gen X, but I am so Gen X, it's not even funny. That when I just did that kind of getting out of bed and going boop, 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 totally reminded me of the beginning of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, where he wakes up and he's got this, as my mother would say, Rube Goldberg contraption where he's getting the cereal ready, but he gets up and he's got his slippers right there and he does the thing and he's got his little morning routine. Your morning routine can be like that. Knowing where your stuff is and having your house set up the way you want it, it's fun. I mean, I joke, but I'm completely serious when I say, you guys have seen me do TikTok lives from other parts of my house. That I was totally inspired by The Monkees. The Monkees Beach House, I know it was a set, but the first season, it looked like they had an exterior. The Monkees and also Pee-wee's Playhouse are kind of my design inspiration. So I want you to encourage you do you, and let's have some fun with it, okay? It doesn't need to be so freaking dramatic. I'm here to bring some lightness to this. Let's lighten up. Let's get the weight off. Notice me, I'm like, woo, getting out of my seat. It can be scary and overwhelming, but we can take that scary overwhelm and turn it into light and possibility. So some good stuff people are leading with. This is what I always do with my one-on-one coaching clients because I coach one-on-one on Zoom with people. And Keeping the Faith, Gina T says, I cleaned off the bathroom counter, yes, and put items away when I woke up yesterday and check it out. It felt great. It felt great. This is why we're doing it. The looking good is only half of the reward. The better, more important reward is when you see it feels good. Yay, I'm glad people love Pee-wee. Here, you know what? So do I. Here. Let me do this. Do it, people. Tequila. There we go. I'll have him sitting down right here next to me, keeping me company. Thanks, PW. Okay. DR says, what are some tips for someone who is organized, but the family is messy? Okay, DR. DR is saying, what are some tips? Sorry, I read another thing. Gotta not distract myself. ADHD brain all over the place. Tips for someone who is organized. I'm inferring that's you, DR. I'm just kind of riffing on that. But the family is messy. So if you are organized, but the family is messy, how about teaching your family how to be organized like you are? Showing them, modeling the behavior, showing them the steps, and also probably if you're if you're one of the dominant, what am I trying to say? Like if you're the parent or whatever, holding them accountable for learning how to be organized. Being organized and decluttering is a skill. It is nothing, I think some of us are inherently possibly born with a propensity to be a little bit more neat and a little bit more messy. I don't know, but it is a skill to learn to make a decision about the stuff you want in your life. And when you decide you want to keep it, basically it's as simple as, if I've decided to keep this, where does it live? Where is its home? Where does it go when I'm not using it, so that it's not cluttering up my home? And also, when I want to go get it, I know where it is. So that's why, DR, I'll be completely serious. I show up here doing this to teach you, because I learned how to do this the hard way. Man, I was walking uphill to school back and forth both ways in the snow. I did it the hard way. It took me way too long to get to where I am in my life, clutter-wise and otherwise. I don't want it to take that long for you. I've been on this journey. I went the wrong way. I got turned around. I got stopped. See, notice this thing in the back of me? This is like a road trip here. I use this metaphor all the freaking time. I've done it. I took the long, circuitous route. I now know that there's a quicker way to get to your destination decluttered, and I want to help you get there quicker. Summer's on the horizon, people. I was walking out today and I saw all the spring flowers. They're blooming, even though it's a gray day here in BA. Summer's on the horizon. Do you want to spend your weekends and all your free time stuck decluttering? No. Well, maybe you do. I don't know. I don't. I want to go out and play. I want to be on the sun. I want to hang out on my patio with a seltzer or a cup of, like a thing of iced tea under the umbrella with my feet kicked up, reading a book. I want to hang out with my friends. I want to move at a pace that feels good to me. I am showing up now in your life to encourage you to say, if you start decluttering now, it's going to be so much, you're going to have so much less clutter by the summer, right? Now, somebody had asked me, and this is what distracted me, Result Slayer is saying, Beth, if they pass the TT bill Saturday, are you on another platform? I am. So 2 things. One is, again, this is kind of a pop culture aside. It's so funny because I use TT for TikTok myself. But I also think of, because I grew up in the Boston area and I'm a huge music fan, I always think of TT the Bears. I know that is so niche, probably nobody gets it, but when you said TT, I was like, oh, TTs, we're going to TTs. Doesn't even exist anymore. So Result Slayer is asking if I'm on another platform. Yes. It's called Zoom, but the only way, if TikTok goes away, and this is going to sound a little bit, I don't want to manipulate you. I don't want to scare you into joining my free mailing list. I don't. That's not how I want people. I want you to want me. Okay, Robin Zander, so freaking cute. I want you to want to hang out with me and want to come along if I happen to move from TikTok, because TikTok goes dark. That's one of the reasons very early on I started just having a free mailing list. So in case these phone lines went down, there was another way of us to communicate. So if TikTok goes away and I can't do TikTok lives, I have a plan. It's going to be showing up on Zoom, but it's only going to be for the people who are on my mailing list. So if that sounds good to you and you're like, oh, I want to kind of hedge my bets. If TikTok's here, that's cool. I'll stay on TikTok, but maybe I'll just sign up for her mailing list. It sounds free. I do not spam you, people. Oh my God, can I just share with you? I will, actually. I just share? That was rhetorical. I can share and I will. And what I'm doing is today, see all this paper? See all this stuff? That's like the physical version of spamming email. I freaking hate it. If you've noticed on all of my TikTok lives, the one thing that gets me really irked is one of the many, but one of the ones that I publicly am about is spam mail and emails to old people. Now, I'm not an old person. That whole pile I just showed you, I'm helping my mother. I'm going to be this afternoon. I'm spending a lot of time this afternoon calling up and saying, get her off your mailing list. So I don't show up that way myself. Excuse me. I do not show up spamming you with emails. You get a handful of emails every month, and each one of them, the only time I send one out is when I feel like I have something good to share. So that's going to be the free monthly Zoom call for the people on the mailing list. And if you're interested on the mailing list, it's destinationdecluttered.com/join. Next week, the 23rd. The 23rd is next week, right? I got to look at my calendar. We have the Destination Decluttered, members only, like the jacket. Members only. Zoom, 8 p.m. Eastern. So if you're on the mailing list, you know how to get there. And if you want to join in, you're just curious about what that might be. No pressure. It's nothing. It's available to you if you want. Okay. So thank you for asking. And we'll just take it as it goes. Okay. Here we go. Now I'm scrolling down here. Now that I've talked enough myself. Good morning, Carla. Nice to see you. Good morning, Dee Dee. Ghetto Yoda, Christy Sherry. Cat Mama says, after watching the live yesterday, I worked in the yard for an hour and a half, did laundry, and went through more papers. Check out yourself. And here, I want to just throw this out there because I think of this myself. Decluttering and moving around and doing work around your house and in your yard, that is exercise, people. You are moving your body. You've got your body moving. You've got energy coming in. That is good for your body and your soul and your eyes. It's a win-win. Okay. All right. Daisy Dogs is saying, I heard Senate already passed it. They passed it for December 9th. All right. I'll deal. Okay. Lucy White, I love it. We did the same Cheap Trick reference. See, this is funny. So when I thought of possibly being a coach, I will confess to you, I wanted to help people, but there's some things that I'm not as good at as others. I bet you have your strengths and the things you're not so good at. So there was certain coaching I knew I wasn't comfortable getting into because I don't have the answers. I don't have a process for it. However, I remembered thinking, clutter, stuff. Oh my gosh, I've been surrounded by stuff all my life. I used to work in visual merchandising in retail. I've worked in process engineering. I grew up in an ADHD cluttered home. Stuff is my thing. But then I said, you know what? One of the things I want is I want to work with people who I enjoy working with. Having a job, showing up, you want to enjoy the people you work with. So one of the ways that I do that is by showing up who I am. I am 58, no makeup, short hair, glasses, Gen X like you wouldn't believe, and pop culture is like my second language. So this is how I show up in coaching too. I rarely change. I'm not going to all of a sudden show up with like a little headset and a tight suit and all that. So if you're looking for the people with the headsets and the tight suits, that's awesome. They are out there. But if you're a person who kind of gets turned off by that, as I was when I was trying to find somebody in the self-help world too that I could resonate with, to me it's like the more I can just be myself. If you dig what I'm doing and you see, oh my gosh, she's funny, this is what I can relate to her, I'd like to hang out with her for 10 weeks, 20 weeks, 30 weeks, 40 weeks, however many 10 session packages we do, like as a coach. If you think we're going to get along, like I was going to say the battle's half over. So I like to show up, and I love it when somebody, as I like to say, is picking up what I'm putting down. Okay? All right, Daisy Dogs, my email is full. I have a terrible time cleaning it out. I just can't, and it never ends. Boy, do you sound like, with the lack of commas there, sound a bit overwhelmed. Everybody, even if you're not feeling overwhelmed, it definitely helps to just do some stretch. We're going to do 3 big breaths together. We're going to take that big ball of overwhelm above us, and we're going to pull it down, all right? Overwhelm, deactivate. Ooh, that felt good. All right, 2 more, because 3 is a magic number, okay? Pull that overwhelm down from above your head. Slowly breathe out. Oh, it feels nice. In with the good air, out with the bad air. And one more time, just for the hell of it. Now, the funny thing is, I wasn't stressed out or overwhelmed to start, but boy, does that feel good. Your body needs oxygen. When your body doesn't get oxygen, it's in a bit of a shallow breathing, fight or flight. But when you remind yourself that there's nothing to be afraid of, it's just stuff. It's just electronic emails. You can do something about it. So Daisy Dogs, hopefully that little thing makes you feel better, gets you out of overwhelm and then into, as I like to say, and I did this, you slow down, you breathe down, you write it down, and you chunk it down, okay? So email will never end. It doesn't. It is a daily kind of culling, a little tidying up, a little weeding of the garden. What I want to offer to you, and maybe you'll do it this afternoon while I'm doing it the old-fashioned way, calling up and getting my mother off of all these things that are just inundating her in her mail. Unsubscribing. Get in the habit of unsubscribing. Even if you unsubscribe from the emails that I sent you, maybe you're like, this isn't what I wanted. I didn't want all this free stuff. It's fine. Unsubscribe from what you don't want. It's kind of like decluttering, okay? Figure out the ones you do want and keep those. But even then, ask yourself why you're keeping them. I will fully testify. I probably keep way too many emails than I, quote, should. But I like it because you know what? I have a whole bunch of emails. This is so fun for me to look at because I have organized my emails. And one of the things I started years ago, what year did I start that? 2011. I was getting emails for a trip I was taking, so I made a folder in Gmail. And then I put 2011 South by Southwest. And every email that was associated with it, I put in there in case I wanted to quickly find it. It was right there in the folder. Then I don't know why I didn't do it for a while, but then I got back in the habit again. So I like keeping certain emails, and basically just so I can look at this list of travel coming up and travel completed. and it reminds me of all the awesome stuff I have done. I also have a big email folder of good stuff. When somebody sends me a nice thing or something good happened, okay? You can do this. Start today. Start today with today's emails. I also just, frankly, because my mother wants me to check her email occasionally, and I said, you have a lot of these older emails. Let's go through them. And then it was okay for her to delete them, just so we can keep track of it. It can be overwhelming, okay? It can be overwhelming, but you can do something about it. And when you feel better, notice I can do something about it is a thought. That makes you feel empowered. It gives you power. I've got control over some of this, and I can do something about it. And then when you get the head and the heart and the hand, then the hand is going to be hitting that unsubscribe button like you wouldn't believe. Okay? Daisy Dogs, hope that helps. I know it will. All right. Carla Holiday is saying, the basement door has not been open for 20 years. Now I can open them. Doors have been open. Excuse me. Now I can open them, and it feels great. There you go, and you're pulling things out. That's awesome. Okay? Yeah. Oh, Lather and Fizz, you're from Dedham. I grew up in Needham. We are buddies. We are neighbors, huh? Okay, how do you get on the mailing list? Mama Beepo is saying, easy peasy lemon squeezy. 2 ways. If you remember this while I say it out loud, that's cool. DestinationDecluttered.com/join. DestinationDecluttered.com/join. If you don't remember that, when you go to like or follow my TikTok page, there's like a link there, and it says like DestinationDecluttered.com/links. If you just click that, you don't need to type anything in. It will bring you to a page where it will show how to sign up for the mailing list, how to schedule a consultation, where I am on YouTube, and things like that. Okay? If you want to do it, I see some people signing in. The more the merrier, seriously. If TikTok goes away, it's the only way we're going to be able to be in touch. We're going to be like pen pals. Okay. Susan Porter is saying, I spend a few minutes occasionally unsubscribing. Don't know how I ended up on so many distro lists. I don't either, and I get curious about that sometimes, but sometimes I feel like I don't care how I got on this list. I just want to get off of it. Now, I know I have signed up for things like win a free trip to someplace cool, and in the small print it says, you're going to be signed up for 80 million of these things. All right, noted. I just say when my stuff comes in, do I want this or not? And if the answer is no, I look for the unsubscribe. By law, there needs to be an unsubscribe option at the bottom of every email. They often will make it not so easy to find. So I go Control F and I say unsub when I have the email open, and it will pop down to it. Hope that helps. Okay, Ms. Seashell is so overwhelmed a lot, and then I freeze and do nothing. Okay, so notice that overwhelm is a feeling that's causing you to freeze. That was me freezing, okay? But it doesn't really. It may feel like that. Fight or flight. Think about an animal in the woods, or you're in the woods, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, what is that? What was that? Your body is ready for anything, but it's focused. It's not looking at the big picture. It's not breathing deeply. It's a hyper focused and in fight or flight mode. What I want to suggest to you and to everybody here, get in the habit of noticing when overwhelm creeps up, when that stressful feeling of, oh, I gotta hurry, I don't have time, however overwhelm feels to you, begin to recognize that feeling so you can stop it. You can stop it and say, hey, I recognize this feeling and I can do something about this. And then you breathe down, you slow down, you calm down. Overwhelm is too big. Think instead of over, I want you to think the opposite. The opposite is the word down. From over to down. Breathe down, calm down, slow down, quiet down. Make yourself feel better first. Feeling in your physical, whatever fancy word you want to use for your physical, neurological, energetic body. Feel better physically. Also, the thing you can do is if you freeze and do nothing, how about unfreezing? Remember freeze tag? Then you ran around, you froze. You have the power to unfreeze yourself. When you think you're frozen, move your body. Put your hand on one item and do something useful with it. A fork goes from the floor on into the dishwasher, or from the floor into the sink. A piece of trash, your hand puts it up. Break the spell, basically. Break the spell and the frozenness, And when you get moving, you'll realize, hey, wait a minute, I have control over whether I'm frozen or not. I have control. I have more control over how I feel than I thought I did. Okay? Ginger is asking, have I written any books? Oh, yeah, I've written books. They are not about decluttering. They're about road tripping. That's why I use the road trip metaphor all over the place. And I'm going to share with you. Again, kind of this is what's going on my brain and my life. I want to share it with you. This past weekend, I went with a few friends and we drove out to Columbus, Ohio. And we went to this awesome bookstore, the Book Loft in the German Village area. And I got a couple of books. But I will say to you, I think in a way, it will be very interesting if I decide to write a written paperback book. Or yeah, I do actually want it to be paperback. I don't want it to be hardcover. And I say this because here's what I have found. Maybe this sounds familiar. When you buy a book about decluttering, you think you've done something to declutter. When you read a book about decluttering, you may think you've done something about decluttering, but maybe you're not doing the stuff. So you think you've done something, but you haven't. And then, and I know this has happened to people I know, then the book becomes part of the clutter. I would much rather show up in a different way, a way that does not clutter you up, in a way that's more easy for you. It's kind of like, in a way, if you think about it, every time I show up and I do a TikTok live, they're recorded and I put them on YouTube. Now, I will say, talk about the good stuff that the people on the Destination Decluttered email are going to get is starting in May. The people on the mailing list are the ones who are going to get first dibs on seeing the replays of these because they can be used as a podcast. But also it's a bit like a much more conversational book on tape that you can listen to me helping you out while you're also moving your body around and decluttering. So I could write a book if I wanted to, but I don't know if I want to. If the money is really, really good and I can get my friend Kathy Hunt to help me do the writing because here's the difference. The message is different when you write, you speak it versus when I write it down. But boy, getting your thoughts out of your head down onto paper is a game changer. All right. So, all right. Yeah. Miss Seashell is saying, oh my God, yes, I have a lot of organizing books on my shelves. I know. Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny? And here's the deal too. Like I looked at like these shelves of books when I was in the bookstore and there's these people who wrote books and this bookstore typically works in like remainders. The leftover ones, so they're like half price or something. And I'm like, what a waste of resources. To me, if I was ever to write a book, it might be like a print on demand type of thing, so that you only get printed the ones you need. You don't have any leftovers. But even then, there's different ways nowadays. Back in the day before the internet, think about this. There were only certain ways you could exchange information with people, that you could learn something. Books were better than word of mouth when people were able to the whole, like Gutenberg Bible and the way that you could print books. That is, to me, a slightly old-fashioned way of transmitting thoughts and ideas. Now, I love to read, don't get me wrong, but I also know that there are easier ways to connect with people and exchange ideas. That's why I'm on TikTok. And if I'm not on TikTok, as TikTok goes away, I'm going to be on Destination Decluttered on Zoom, and I will just work with only the people who are on that thing. So get yourself onto the mailing list if you care to. Okay, so just think about those things. Think about what you want to do and how you want to do it. If you don't want to declutter, I want to offer this to you. Ask this question. What's in it for me? What's in it for me? Why should I even do this decluttering? Why? Because if the answer is not valid to you, you're not going to show up. It's like, I guess so. I guess I'll go to this class. I guess I'll go to college. Guess I'll whatever. But if you're motivated and you want to do it, you're going to show up differently. Yeah, be nice. Oh my God, you and me, hon. My mom was a book collector. Now I inherited the hoard. My dad was a book collector. He has passed. My mother is a book collector. I could probably look on, and she is to this day. She's 83 years old. She buys books on Amazon that she thinks she's going to read. And then she doesn't read them. Or maybe she does. But she even admits to herself that she has more books in her house now than she will ever read. Be nice. Let me share you with my idea. Okay? So book collecting, there are some books that are out there that are collectible. There are some books that people will pay more than the cover price for after you've purchased it, like investment books. But even then, it's iffy. So make a plan for what you want to do with that hoard. Is there a way that you can identify, are there any books you think are going to be like, oh, look, it's a first edition of David Copperfield, or like a unpublished Stephen King. I don't know what they are anymore. But check to see if there's anything good, and that can be just a really quick check. But most of the stuff that's mass produced, it has very little value monetarily. But what it sounds like it's doing, because you're talking about it like a hoard, it sounds like it's weighing you down, and now it's your mom's books. Your mom's books in your life. Are they the books you want to read? Cool, read them. But if they're not, you're doing yourself a disservice. We are doing ourselves a disservice when we have the stuff of other people's that we don't want in our lives. The best thing you can do for yourself is to get those books out of your life as easily and quickly as possible. Okay? One of the things I'm going to do, I've said this to my mother. I'm trying to have a better relationship with her than I ever have in my life, so I'm being very clear and honest with love in my heart. And I say, Ma, don't worry about those books. When you're dead, I'm just going to give them all away. I was thinking about it yesterday. I was thinking of putting like some tarps on the front lawn. And seriously, I was thinking about this yesterday and being like, I'm just going to bring all the books out, lay them out and say 25 cents a piece, or just take them away. They're free. Because when you purchase something, you've already spent your money. You will rarely, if ever, get your money back when you make a purchase. So the time to think about getting your money back is before you make the purchase. Will I regret this? Will I regret the money I spent on this thing? Now, this is where I'm going to slip kind of easily into a really cool story, which is I just ended last week a coaching relationship with a client because she's like, I am good. I am ready. As she said, these are her words. I now know how to drive the car. And she literally said to me in her testimonial, and she repeated it when we were emailing, this is the best money I have spent in the past year. Maybe longer, but the year is pretty cool. And so feeling good about how you spend your money and being okay with if it doesn't work out, I'm all right with that. So just think about that. But keeping somebody else's stuff in your life is just weighing down your life. Okay? Yeah, Miss Seashell has got that motivation. I have 3 generations of belongings to pare down, and I don't want to leave it for my kids. Yeah, notice we've got generations above us that legit struggled with stuff because of factual scarcity in the early 20th century, and the means of production did not allow for scalability for things. And I don't know about your people, my people grow up poor. So we kept a lot of stuff because you might need that just in case. The shed at my grandmother's house in Dedham was filled with stuff. When she died in 1985, we unpacked decades worth of stuff. Now, we were a collector family, so a lot of Grammy's things I ended up getting, and my sisters, and we saved a lot of that stuff. And through time, we have whittled it down. But yeah, I don't have kids. I have my mother and my dad's stuff ahead of me, probably some other people, I don't know. But I don't want to leave I don't want to leave this burden and this way of thinking and dealing with stuff. I don't want to leave that for my nieces and nephew. So that's why I am really even hot and heavy at my young age of going through my stuff, because I just don't want to deal with it anymore. I want to spend my time on the planet doing some really cool, fun stuff. I don't want to spend all my time freaking decluttering. And I don't want you to either. Oh, there you go, Erin. The siren song. The siren song of I was just, your ears must have been burning when I was talking about money well spent. Alrighty. There was something else here. User 70248867539 says, how to motivate and get started. Right here, but right here. Why am I going to do this? Activate the green light in your heart. What's going to motivate you? I don't think it's going to be me beating you up about it. No. Suck it up, Buttercup. Just do it. Drop and give me 5. Drop and give me 50. I don't know. It's so not how I coach in this. It's not how I am motivated. I am not motivated by fear and intimidation. If people try to do that, nowadays I'm strong enough that it pisses me the F off and I just flip them the bird and say, screw you, I'm going to do it my way. But I know there are different ways to motivate other people and myself. And I respond so much better It's like a flower blooming. You're not pouring tons of water on it, being like, hurry up and grow. Little bit at a time. Patience, love, encouragement, getting psyched when the little blooms happen. Okay, now I know I kind of went on a garden riff right there, but how to motivate? Why do you even want to declutter? What's in it for you? Not anybody else in your world. Why do you want to do it? What is a reason that has some resonance right here? Like, oh, yeah, you know what? How about I'm just sick of living around this crap and I want to live in a house that looks and feels and functions better than the way this place does now. I've dealt with this for decades and I'm so freaking sick of it. Sometimes I think, because a lot of my clients, I mean, I have had clients from the 20s, in their 20s to their 70s and everywhere in between. But sometimes we put up with a lot of stuff for decades. And then we may just get to our 50s and be like, I am done. Like what I thought, it starts to have a negative effect. So motivate yourself, write these things down. And then say, okay, what can I do today to just get started? What's the teeniest, weeniest, eeniest, beaniest thing? I will share with Erin. I just downloaded Noom, the weight loss thing, on my phone again. I had deleted it in November because I was like, screw this. But now I've realized I've also gained some weight after it. So one of the things I did this morning, to get myself back on kind of a more healthy eating track, is I downloaded an app. I weighed myself. It was okay. It was okay. It's a number I ain't never seen before, Jay, but you know what? The number on the scale has nothing to do with how awesome of a person I am. Notice how I'm talking to myself nicely. I'm not beating myself up after gaining weight because I don't know, because I traveled too much and I was drinking and eating a lot. I was eating a lot of good food and drinking. Be kind to yourself, okay? Be kind to yourself. Encourage yourself. Show up on the daily, doing a little bit at a time. Talk to yourself kindly. You've got backseat drivers. I haven't talked about the backseat drivers and the co-pilot a lot, but in my kind of metaphor of road tripping, you're the driver. You're the one who's steering in a direction, or you're stopped, or you're stuck, or you're overwhelmed. But you're not alone in the car. It's not just you. You think it is, but it's not. And this is how I like to think of it. You have backseat drivers. You know what a backseat driver is, right? It's like, no, don't do that. I will confess, I am sometimes a backseat driver when my husband is driving. I try not to be, but I'm like, hey, watch out, that person, no, do that. And basically it's, don't do it the way you're doing it. Do it the way I want you to do it. Backseat driver. Here, go this way. Slow down. Take a left here. You should turn. Get around that person. Guilty as charged in the driving. But just notice that is a certain way that your brain is trying to get you to do things. But you also have a co-pilot. Now the co-pilot is the one that's next to you in the passenger seat. Backseat drivers are in the back seat. They can't touch the wheel, and technically neither can your co-pilot. But your co-pilot just sitting there in 100% unadulterated, 100% butterfat love, saying, I'm here for you. I am here for you always. I am, God is my co-pilot. I'm not religious, but I remember those license plates in gift stores. But you know what? There's another part of you that may not speak up as often because the backseat drivers are like little baby. They're kids in their seats. They just chat, all the time. Shh. When you quiet them down, that's when your co-pilot is like, finally, I can say something. And you know what your co-pilot says? You got this. You want it? Consider it done. Let's get going. Now, I like to feel like I, as a coach, kind of show up as a physical example of what co-pilot energy is. You know what? Sure. That's your destination decluttered. Let's get there. What can we do to get there? What are some milestones on your roadmap? Let's write them down. Oh, you want to do that room? Sure. Let's get started. You want that room to be done? I got it. Let's make a plan. Let's make a roadmap. Let's show up. How can we make it easy for you? Just think about that. Think about the voices inside your head. They will either discourage you from doing what you want and say, don't do what you want, do what I want you to do. Or when you realize you can quiet them down, breathing down, slowing down, quieting down, dare I say meditation? Dare I say it? Just said it. Okay. And you can do something about it, and you can listen for your co-pilot voice. And it just feels so nice when things are just quiet and calm, when you quiet down the little kids in the back seat, saying, this is where I want to go. You get your co-pilot being, let's do it. Don't even wake the kids up. We're just going to drive. This will be fun. And then you go, and then it becomes a road trip, not a commute. All right? I love that. It gets me excited to get on the road. I want to do more fun stuff. Okay? All right, where do we have? So Be Nice. This is really cool. So Be Nice was talking about her mom stuffs. It is weighing me down, but I'm also discovering my mom again. Yeah. But letting go of stuff is invigorating. Invigorating. Notice that feeling. I go through moments of purchase. I don't want to leave a mess. Okay, I love it. I love the resonating. Cat Mom is saying exactly. I love this. So Erin is offering herself up as a 100% human testimonial, because she says it really was the best money I've ever spent. If anyone here is on the fence about one-on-one coaching, trust me, it is amazing. And she gave the little Rosie the Riveter thing. Yeah, 33 Cupcakes says, I don't want to teach my young kids it's normal to have so much clutter. Yeah, and the best way you can teach them is by learning yourself how to declutter, so you teach your kids what you've got. You teach your kids your skills you have, whether it's overt or it's just observed. But kids are like sponges. Who was it? My friend Craig and Lisa, we were hanging out with them this recently, and they were talking about how a friend of theirs says that little children are like little scientists. They are just there observing and taking notes. And so watch what you're modeling, what actions, what behaviors, that's the word I was looking for. What behaviors are you modeling? Kids are observing. Are you the one who isn't putting your stuff away? Are you letting stuff pile up? Are you buying things you don't need? People are watching and seeing how that goes, and they think this is normal. I grew up in a house that forever, there was always piles behind my mother's chair in the kitchen and on the table. And my dad had piles of stuff in the dining room that wasn't really the dining room at all, because we just walked through it to get upstairs. It was like one day a year it was the dining room, but just the piling of stuff. I grew up in that, and so I thought it was normal. So I started creating and collecting piles of stuff myself. Luckily, I fell into jobs and lifestyles and different things that I learned skills that I could then apply my skills at work to my life. And then I got coaching to help me with what was in here and in here. And boy, has it made a difference. And that's why I show up to do this with you. All right. So, all right. I always do that. That's like one of my verbal, what do you call it? Punctuation. So Nola Mish is saying, preach, sister. I will. So true about getting older and wanting to get this shit done. Yes, I want to relax and enjoy my house. Yeah, Cat Mama is saying too. My daughter is coming to visit from Michigan tomorrow. And even though I've known for months, it would be so nice to have a guest in my house and not have to declutter the guest room. Yep. And 33 Cupcakes is helping, saying, can you use that last minute adrenaline to help you get ready for her? Cynthia, I love it that you like what you're learning in your coaching sessions, and I so enjoy coaching with you. I really love hanging out with my coaching clients. We collaborate, we talk, we exchange ideas, and the best thing about coaching, I will say, is that we make a plan. We set some milestones, and that milestone is just like a little, what do you want to do between now and next week? What are some things you know you will feel better if you take care of? Let's hang out and just discover some of the stories behind your stuff, so you get that aha moment saying, wow, I didn't even think of that, but now I understand why I was hanging on to that stuff. Once you understand it, maybe you can release it, or maybe you decide you want to keep it. It's totally up to you, Okay, so Mevins Liv says, I'm the culprit. My parents aren't that way. Okay, so now you are your own person. How do you want your life to be? Maybe you can pick up some tips from them. Maybe you can pick up some tips from me here on TikTok. I love it. Okay, Mevins is saying, you are always such a breath of fresh air. I always get motivated when watching you. Thank you. But you know what I want? This is my goal, actually. And I feel, and it's so funny because recently just the way that coaching, and I think life just has a certain season and rhythm to it. Notice how we went through winter. We had, all this, and now we're into spring. And so my coaching calendar kind of has a nice little rhythm to it. I work Monday through Friday, basically from 6 a.m. Eastern to about 5 p.m. Eastern, any schedules in between that. And just recently, I've had a few clients whose coaching packages, they've gotten what they wanted, they're feeling good, they've got the skills, and so their coaching patch is over. Sometimes that takes one package, sometimes that's two, sometimes I've got people who are on their fourth and they love it. So depending upon where you are and how much you're dealing with, may take you more than one package, no big deal. But the neat thing is I love that feeling, almost like a mama bird who's kind of pushing the kids out of their nest because I've taught them how to fly. I remember thinking this. I was a manager for years, and pretty much every job I had, I kind of was inadvertently risen to management. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm the oldest or I'm just wicked responsible or something. But I always loved it when I'm thinking of a couple of people that I worked with in one particular thing that I was like, fly, go, like you can do so much better than you are here, encouraging people to go off and be their best self. And it's a bit hard, it's a little bit bittersweet. I bet as parents you feel that way. You know, my nieces and nephews are now out of that. My nephew just picked his college. He's going to be out. So that bittersweetness, but knowing that you've given them and yourselves good skills to go out and fly. How cool is that? And the neat thing is if you didn't learn those skills early on, you can use them, you can learn them now. You can learn these things now. And then when you learn them now, you can teach them to other people. You don't have to gatekeep, you know. What I teach is totally, as I like to say, the Fabergé organic shampoo. Come on, I tell you, you tell two friends, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. The more people who know how to do this, the better a lot of people are going to feel, okay? Hope says, I just realized Mom had piles everywhere too. Yeah, okay, alrighty. All right, one-on-one is the best, says Lori Hannah. Hey, Lori Hannah. On third package in my house, and best yet, my mind is better and the way I want. That feels really good. Thank you, you guys. Like, to me, notice what can, a little bit of encouragement for somebody to say you got this, that you're on the right track. When you get that kind of energy in your tank, that's not the frantic, freaking out, last minute, shit, I got to get these things done before people are here. That's like the high octane, long lasting, probably nutrition that you get from something really healthy versus like, you know, a donut and a Diet Coke. That really means a lot. I can feel that, and it makes me know that I'm doing the right thing. And if what I'm doing by showing up on TikTok, you know, in the morning, random April morning, after my morning walk, is helping you, helping people, helping you feel better. When you feel better, you're going to do better. And what I teach you and what I hope this is showing you is even just how it feels. How it feels when somebody is there, not saying do it this way and you're wrong and blah, 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 but showing up in love with you, with love for you, saying, here, I got a way how to do it. Let me show you. This is a fun way of doing it. I like to have fun, don't you? Wouldn't you like a road trip? Like if you're on a road trip with somebody, do you want like a drill sergeant in the passenger seat with you who's like, no, don't stop at that fun place. Go to, you know, we're just going to drive until we get there. I don't care if you have to pee. No, we're not going to do that. Blah. Like what kind of fun would that be? That would not be fun at all. I would not sign up for that. I'd say I'd rather stay home than be in the car with you. But a road trip is meant to be fun. And your destination is something you're looking forward to getting to. As I was saying earlier today, I like to play with like rhymes and, you know, little snappy sayings and stuff. And I was like, are you looking ahead with dread? In the windshield of your life, are you looking ahead with dread? Or are you looking forward to something? Notice that phrase we have, looking forward. Sure, you're looking forward, legitimately. I'm looking, and there's forward. But when you say, I'm looking forward to something, it means that your heart's involved. You know what I'm looking forward to? I'm looking forward to, frankly, hanging out at my house for a couple of weeks yet, because I haven't been home in a long time. Now, I am also looking forward to taking some trips. What are you looking forward to? Okay? And if you don't have something to look forward to, let's make one up. Get something on your calendar. Get something. What is going to touch your heart? What's going to turn on your heart light? We're coming to America. Oh my God, I cracked myself up. But what turns on your heart light? A la Neil Diamond. I always said Nat King Cole, and I knew it wasn't him. But Cole, Diamond, Nat, Neil. What's going to turn on your heart light? What are you looking forward to? But really, what's lighting up your heart? What are you looking forward to? Maybe you're just looking forward to, I don't know, changing things up that ain't working. Maybe you're looking forward to something different. I don't want to live like this anymore. I am done. I am so tired of things looking and feeling like this. I am looking forward to it not being like this. Okay? Miss Lopez, 67, is saying, why do I tell myself if I had someone here chatting with me, I'd do more cleaning? I'll tell you, but this is my take on it. Okay? So my take on this is two things. One is the ADHD brain sometimes likes a thing called body doubling. Just knowing that somebody else is there with you can help you focus. You don't even have to be doing anything. I've done this with clients where I am on Zoom and I say, okay, do this, and they're able to focus and quiet things down because they've got the buddy system. No big deal. The other thing too is, but if you think about this, and this is a bit just something to, again, think about, I think a lot, is when you are decluttering, there are 3 levels of clutter: surface, stored, sentimental. Surface clutter, I bet you could have your friend over having coffee and you could pick up and tidy up. You could put things away where they're supposed to be. However, what wouldn't happen is you would do more cleaning. And notice you said do more cleaning. But decluttering is different. Now, this is interesting because I will confide in you guys. I'm going to post a TikTok video that I'm going to assemble about me kind of decluttering my Snow Dome collection. Most of it, I realized in hindsight, is cleaning, but I was able to play with my toys and decide which ones I don't want and take care of them so I feel good about where they are. I got myself into decision mode. But what I will say is this, is when you are dealing with stored clutter and stored clutter and sentimental clutter, you need to listen to your own head. So if you're chatting with somebody, sure, like as I do these TikTok lives, I'm the person hanging out with you chatting. So next time I do a TikTok live, let me see when that is. Oh, tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern, here. It might be helpful for you. Experiment with it. There's a ton of TikTok lives that are recorded and they're on Destination Declutter on YouTube. Put one on in the background and see if that could make it be like somebody's chatting in the background while you're tidying up. But this is what I recommend is when you are decluttering is decision making. And decision making requires a conversation with your head and your heart. And to me anyway, maybe it's different for you, I need some quiet to listen to myself think, to make a decision that I feel good about. Maybe I'll have some like music in the background, but there's no words because then I start singing along. But find out what environment is going to help you listen to yourself, head and heart, so that you're making decisions about your stuff that you feel good about. Okay? Hope that helps. I know it will. All right? Yeah, okay. Here's the funny thing. Nola Mation, 33 cupcakes. I hear you talking about, I'm eavesdropping. And I hear you talking about adrenaline daily. But can you imagine? Adrenaline is response to response to an emergency. That is not the good kind of energy you want. Sure, if that hyper focus gets you going, embrace it when it happens, but that's not a really good energy to have physically, energetically, and you do the adrenaline and you'll do the crash. What I like to think of is thinking of working at a pace that works for you. You're not in the high speed lane going 90 miles an hour on adrenaline, but you're also not stuck on the side of the road in park. Learning how to get out of the mud on the side of the road and driving at a pace that feels comfortable to you a little bit every day can get you so much further, and you will feel so much better every day than doing that procrastinate. Oh shit, now I have to do it because people are coming tomorrow. It's actually been a really interesting thing for me to start living like this because we have had some people stay over within the past 6 months, a handful of times, not many. My old brain thinks, oh my God, I've got people coming over, I have to do so much. And then I look around, I'm like, there's like very little for me to do here to get ready for them. It's a wonderful feeling. If anything, I use it as kind of, as I said, like on one of my TikTok videos, as a reason, as an excuse to just kind of do the cleaning that I don't do as frequently, like the dusting and the mopping and the vacuuming, the kind of very, very surfacey things, and the little incremental tidying. Learning how to regulate your nervous system, we would call it in the biz, is a better long-term thing, both physically, psychologically, and all the things. Okay? Do what you need to do now, but also know your daughter loves you. She knows you're cluttered. She loves you anyway. And just find a place for her to sleep. And maybe she will help you with the clutter. Think about it. Okay, I love this. Mevins is saying finally taking the steps and getting remodeling done to have spots for necessary things and getting rid of the rest. Yes, making a home for the stuff you want to keep. Yay. And getting rid of the stuff you don't want. Yay. That's why we're here. Okay, now I've got like 5 minutes, just so you know. I love it when everybody in this in the TikTok live is helping each other out. We are all here together. It's a community. And this, when I say that, it reminds me to give another kind of shameless plug, because there's no shame at all, to hop on the Destination Decluttered mailing list. It is free. It is low pressure to no pressure. Pretty much all you do is you get the good stuff first. You know when I'm going to be doing TikTok lives next week before anybody else. You get invited to the free group Zoom call. You also, if I decide to do any, I've done, like a workshop about breeze blocking, which is my kind of fun way of getting stuff on your calendar. Only the people on the mailing list get that. Also, I will be changing up, frankly. I've decided to do a few things just to make it more valuable for you to get on the mailing list, to encourage you to stay in touch if TikTok goes by. And one of the things I'm going to do starting in May is that the people on the TikTok, on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list, are going to be the ones that get the first dibs to see a month's worth of recorded TikTok lives. The archives will be open for free, and once the month is done, I will open it up to anybody, but there will be a monthly delay. So if you want to listen to, and kind of like a podcast, it's almost like a subscription to a podcast maybe. If you want that, sign up for the mailing list. At the moment, my mailing list is free. Some people charge for like a membership fee and stuff like that. I don't want to nickel and dime you. I may have some other things that I offer, but right now, there's a lot of cool stuff. So destinationdecluttered.com/join. Hop on the mailing list. And I will say this too. I was running through my numbers the other day, and there are some people's emails that got caught in the trap. Caught in a trap. And weren't getting my mails because of different things. Either you marked it as spam, or it somehow showed up that you didn't agree to it. If you think you signed up and you haven't received emails from me in the past month, just sign up again, okay? Just sign up again to make sure you've did it. And I will also be trying to contact the people who might have inadvertently gotten kind of blocked. All right. German Maid, yep, thank you for letting Ms. Lopez know about body doubling. I love it that Cat Mama, oh my God, looking forward to our porch being built. Can't wait to sit and enjoy after taking care of Mom for 5 years. Oh, porch life, man. Screen porch, that's my jam. I love our house, don't get me wrong, but man, I wish we had a screen porch. We have a little patio, this is good, and I have mentally tacked one on. It's not going to work, but man, do I love a screen porch. What a feeling. Nola Misha saying, Ms. Lopez, I put Beth on YouTube and listen to her again while I'm cleaning. You got it? Cat Mama does the same thing. Cam saying, do you have a recommendation on app to transfer tons of pictures to? I don't really. I don't. I'd be lying if I did. I tend to use my iCloud, things like that. But I will say this, Cam, do a quick Google search. This is me typing. Google is your friend. There are many of them out there. And also, I will say this, having come back from the NAPO conference just a couple of weeks ago, there are professional organizers who help with nothing but pictures. I leave mine on my phone and on my, on my iCloud. Maybe I'll do something about it. I don't know. But if you find one, let me know. Okay, we can work it. All right. Good morning, Anita from Texas. All right. All right. Now, user 1963 says, I've never been able to do the Zoom. Okay, well, how about this? How about this week? Make an opportunity to do it. Cam is saying, I'm sorry, getting on the mailing list, destinationdecluttered.com, all one word. And also, if you like, here's the deal. If you, what do I want to say? If you follow. I'm always forgetting the word. If you follow my TikTok page here, on the very front page of my TikTok, you see a thing that says destinationdecluttered.com/links. That's where all the links to the good stuff. Yep, destinationdecluttered.com. Okay. Yeah, Elsa is saying if you have Prime, storage is unlimited. All these things. Awesome, Cam. Just joined. Love it. I gotta sign off. I got coaching to do. Love you guys, but love my clients just a smidge more. And I will see you next tomorrow morning. All right. Hop on the mailing list. It's where the good stuff happens. Okay. Bye. Oops. Swiping to close. What am I doing? Here we go. Boop a doop. End now.